Hello everyone, today we are going to show you how we roast the coffee beans. This is 1 kg coffee bean roaster from ITOP kitchen. It is the gas model. Obviously, we recommend putting in a maximum of 1 kg of coffee beans at one time. Instead, the minimum is 500 grams. The machine has twin turbos. So this is 1 kg coffee beans. We put the beans in and we start to roast. We open this and put into the coffee beans. Before we place the coffee beans in, we need to take a look at this temperature. We recommend a temperature of 180 degrees Celsius or 220 degrees or 230 degrees is also okay. The temperature should not be too high but not too low either. Now we see that the temperature is perfect. We now open this to put the beans into the container. Then we press the timing button. It helps us to get to know how long it takes to roast. We have to close this where all the coffee beans have entered the container because it affects the wind pressure here. The wind pressure we see now is 1 bar. We see the temperature constantly changing. When the temperature is at the lowest, it will increase again. This will ensure that the beans are heated evenly, and that takes about 1 minute. The current temperature is 73 degrees. This is the temperature change. The time required is around 1 minute. We can see the wind pressure through this gauge. When the wind pressure is too high, we can adjust it by this damper. For 1 kg, 2 kg or 3 kg of coffee beans, the roasting time is about 8 to 10 minutes. If this is not the first roast, we roasted a couple of times before. We can take this out and clean out the remains from the roasting process. As you can see here, when we see that the roasting time has been longer, but the temperature has not risen to what we want, we can enlarge the fire like this. We observe the changes of coffee beans here. From the beginning of the blue coffee beans to yellow after being roasted. The coffee beans will turn brown after further heating. In addition, we can also use this sampling spoon to take out some beans so as to better see the color of the coffee beans or smell the coffee. After roasting at a high temperature, it is obvious that we see a change in the wind temperature. If you thought the wind pressure is too high, we can adjust it through the damper and vice versa. We know the coffee roaster has requirements for the air temperature. When the temperature reaches between 150 and 160 degrees, it is what we call turning yellow. The color of the coffee beans we see at this time is different from the previous ones. Taking out a spoonful of coffee beans, we see that they have been fully yellow. Usually, when the coffee beans turn yellow, we can slightly adjust the throttle because the moisture content of coffee beans will be a little higher. The moisture content of coffee beans will generally be 10 or 11, and there are steams after we roast the coffee beans. The steams will be inside the boiler. We are supposed to release it, which is better for the next time of roasting. When using the machine, the users need to pay attention to, firstly, firepower, and second, damper, especially this device. If we forgot to close this device after putting in the beans, its air ray will drop quickly. This is not good for the roasting. When the temperature rises to 180 degrees, we will see more clearly that the coffee beans have turned entirely brown. At this moment, coffee roasters will use their own expertise to smell and feel the coffee beans to make sure the beans are perfect. Generally speaking, when we roast 1 kg of coffee beans, the first rack occurs when the temperature reaches about 180 or 190 degrees. We will hear popping sound. For this moment, we need to take out the coffee beans to see if they have burned. If we don't know whether the coffee beans have popped, we can put our ears here to listen to the sound of popping. When the coffee beans pop, we can take a look at this air pressure gauge. It went from the initial 40 to between 60 to 80 because there is a lot of heat during the baking. And we know heat creates wind pressure, so the gauge changes. Now, judging from the temperature, we know that it is time to pour the coffee beans out. This button needs to be pressed before we take the beans out. This is the cooling plate. Then we open this and the coffee beans fall into the cooling tray. And we have upgraded the cooling power of the roaster. The cooling time of 1 kg of coffee beans is about 1 to 2 minutes. We can't touch these coffee beans for now because its temperature is up to 200 degrees. That's all. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.